No, remember we can't do
yeah, I
pluses because we're doing groups of, right? Yep, that X means groups of. So 2 groups of 2 is 4. Do you know what's interesting about not too many of these, but this one? Do you know that what's 2 plus 2?
4.
It's 4 too. So 2 times 2 is 4 and 2 plus 2 is 4. There's not a lot of numbers that are like that. Okay? But that's why you wanted to put the plus there. So now what I want to do is I want to do 2 groups of, I want to do 3 groups of 2.
3 groups of 2.
So let's write it out first. 3 groups of 2.
That might be a little too easy for me.
I know, you're getting this fast. 3 groups of 2. And now show me with the markers what that looks like. 3 groups of 2. Use the markers to show it.
Okay. I think that might be a little too easy.
So show me on the markers what 3 groups of 2 looks like.
But this one didn't have one.
You don't need the ones with, they don't have to have the magnets on them. You can just put them by each other.
Right by each other?
Yeah, that's fine. So how many are 3 groups of 2?
6.
6? Okay, write it down. Let's see.
I'm gonna use this color.
All right, you're doing good.
Is it 6?
So 3 groups of 2 is 6. What about, we're going to skip around a little bit. Show me 5 groups of 2.
5 groups of 2.
5 groups of 2.
I need to get these out of my way so that you're comfortable.
How many groups of 2 do you have already? No, don't use yellow.
Why?
Because you can't see that.
Okay.
Yeah, yellow we can use for the numbers, but we don't want to use that color. You won't be able to see it when you write it. All right. So we're going to show 5 groups of 2.
Whoa, why do I always make that wrong?
It's okay. This is why we're using the dry erase board. We can write it over. Okay? And here, you've got an eraser so you don't have to use your fingers. All right, show me 5 groups of 2.
5 groups. Wait, just that.
Use the eraser. It's okay.
Why can't I ever get my...
Good.
5 times 2?
Yep, 5 groups of 2.
5 times 2.
So let's use our markers. Let's come back to our markers and figure out how many 5 groups of 2 is. How many groups of 2 do you already have there?
3.
3. So we've got to add how many more groups of 2 to that? How many groups of 2 do you have now?
4.
How many groups of 2 do you need?
10.
10.
This makes 10. I counted by 2.
5 groups of 2 make 10, and that's counting by 2s, right? You're finding the pattern? All right, let's write it down. Super duper smart. You are a smart cookie.
I'm not a cookie. Nope.
So when you're writing your, these are called equations, okay?
I know.
When you're writing your equation, it's like it's words. So it says 5 groups of 2, and what are the 2 little symbols? What are those? What does that symbol mean in the middle?
This symbol means equal.
Right. So 5 groups of 2 equals 10. Or you can say 5 what?
Times.
5 times 2 equals 10. Or you could say, could you use something else that's at the top of there?
Top?
Yep, on the top of the sheet what I wrote, because I said it's either groups of times, or it could be, you can use another word, but we won't use that whole word. We'll use something else. Multiplication.
Multiplication.
So we can say 5 multiplied by 2 equals 10. All those things mean the same. So 5 multiplied, yep. 5 multiplied by 2 equals 10.
I
5
say
times,
that.
oh, it's okay. That's a big word. We can use times or we can use groups. Okay?
I'm going to use groups.
Okay, so now we worked on twos, okay? Groups of twos. We're going to do something completely different that we haven't done, okay? We're going to do 3 groups of 4. And I'm not going to talk you through it. I just want you to write it down and use the markers on yourself. 3 groups of 4.
I'm not going to be that good at that.
I think you are, but I'm not going to talk you through it. I want you to show it to me, and you can talk through it while you're doing it if you want.
I will need to bring these. $12.
12. Okay. So show me how it looks on the whiteboard.
I'm not good at white.
You're really good at this. Show me what it looks like. Now, one thing.
That looks like a Z.
It looks like a Z or a 5. So, do you see where my 2's are, or the other 2 that you wrote? There you go. 3 times 4 equals what?
I just forgot the name of it.
Look at the number. You know that number.
12.
12. Okay. That's awesome. That is super awesome. Now we're going to do a little something different. I want to because I want to show your mom how smart you are and Grandma Mona, and I might show the world maybe.
What?
So this is a little different. I want to do 4 groups of 3.
4 groups of 3 will be a little too easy.
Okay, let's see what you got. I'm not going to talk you through it. You show me 4 groups of 3.
I might need to write it up here.
You can write it underneath it, or you can write it on the side, wherever you like. You can even, here, we can do let's get another, here, erase what you have there. Mm-hmm. Use the eraser, and then you have more space. Mm-hmm. But leave the 3 groups of 4, erase what's in the middle.
This one?
Yep, you can erase all that in the middle, but leave the 3 groups of 4.
The pink stuff?
The pink and the black and brown.
And this?
And if you want to, do you have the eraser that I gave you, the gray one?
I'm not going to use that.
Okay. You can erase the black and the brown too.
I feel like the smartest kid in the whole wide world.
Well, I like that. All right, so what I asked for next, I want to know about 4 groups of 3.
I want you to tell me. I want you to tell me the balls.
4 groups of 3, please.
4. Ah!
It's okay. This is why we have a whiteboard and markers. Besides, Dad'll be in a crazy planner. So I write all my plans
Dad,
on
you
this.
know you don't need to talk.
I don't. Oh, hey, I'll be quiet. I'll be quiet. I'll be quiet.
I want to focus.
All right, I'll be quiet.
bigger.
Okay, so we're close on that, okay? I want you to count over. Count your groups over one more time.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Huh.
You're close again.
What? Oh!
What's the what is it?
I know.
You want need to count them again, or you want to?
I don't need to count them again.
Okay.
I just got mixed up how to write.
Okay. Okay. So now I'm going to talk a little bit, okay?
Mm-hmm.
You said that 3 groups of 4 was 12, right? On the bottom?
Mm-hmm.
You're also saying that 4 groups of 3 is 12.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
Yes. It's
How is that the
really
same?
because it's just that these are in different places.
So those are in different places. So if you put those numbers in different places, does it matter?
No.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Let's try it with another one, okay? Just to make sure.
Why?
We'll do a smaller one just to check, because we have a hypothesis, right?
Mm-hmm.
That it doesn't matter if those numbers switch.
Mm-hmm.
So let's erase those 3 groups of 4 and the 4
Both
groups
of
of 3.
them?
Yep, let's erase both of them. We're going to try our hypothesis, okay?
Okay. I'm the smartest.
You're the smartest? I love you.
I literally feel like I'm the smartest girl in the whole entire world.
I love you being the smartest girl in the whole entire world.
I don't know that I'm the whole entire
Okay.
smartest girl
So
in the
what we're
world.
going to do is we're going to do a setup, and we're going to do 2 groups of 3 and 3 groups of 2. So it's going to be 2 different problems, and we're going to show it with 2 different sets of markers. So one of them do up here, and one of them do down here. 2 groups of 3, 3 groups of 2, and then that's going to let us know if what we thought was right, that we can move those numbers around. Okay?
It's really true.
Let's see it. 2 groups of 3 on the top, 3 groups of 2 on the bottom. Nope. We're doing 3 groups of 2 and 2 groups of 3.
Why I get mixed up?
We're doing a different number now. 3 groups of 2 and
That
2
looks like
groups
a
of 3.
plus. It looks like a plus too much. It needs to look like an X.
So look at your 2. Does that look like a 2?
Yes.
Are you sure? Look at my 2's on the top. There you go. The 2's and 5's get tricky, don't they? Sometimes the 3's too. Yeah, 3 groups of 2, and then we got another one, 2 groups of 3. We're going to see if these are the same.
You mean I don't need to do this?
Yep, you can do it equal, but we're just writing the first part of the equation, just the problem part.
Mm-hmm.
So then we're doing 2 groups, good,
No.
of 3.
I'm really
We
like
just move the
that.
numbers. Okay, so show me on the markers. Show me on the markers. I want to see 3 groups of 2 and then 2 groups of 3 with your markers, and we'll see if that's right.
2. 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Those are equal, right? They're equal, but do you have 2 groups of 3 and 3 groups of 2?
Mm-hmm.
Those are two. Show me where your 2 groups of 3 are.
2 groups of 3. 2. Wait. 2 groups of 3.
Are those 2 groups of 3?
I don't know. No.
Okay, so how many? So
2 groups of 5.
that's not 2 groups of 5.
Wait.
That's those are those group the numbers the same there? You got a 2 and a 3. Are those the same?
2 and a 3?
Yep, there's 2 there and there's 3 there. Are those the same numbers of groups?
No.
Okay, so we're doing 2 groups of 3. Show me what 2 groups of 3 looks like.
2 groups of 3.
All right. Are those 2 groups of 3?
Yes.
Okay, let's jump over here. On this one, we want to do 3 groups of 2.
3 groups of 2.
So you should have 3 different groups of how many?
2.
Okay. All right. Now we can. Now, does it look right, or do we have 2 groups of 3 and 3 groups of 2?
I guess kinda.
Okay. Let's talk it out. Okay. This is where we talk out to make sure. Okay.
Wait. This would be white. That would be, if I moved this to this and this to this, they would be equal.
Okay, but you're right. You are dead right. Okay. But what we want to do is we want to show that equation, those 2 equations. Okay.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I know. We're getting there, okay? Look at this. We've got 3 groups of 2 right here, right? Are those I'm sorry, we have 2 groups of 3 right there. Is that right?
Mhm.
You see it? You see the 2 different groups?
Yes.
And there's 3 in each one, right?
Uh-huh.
2 groups of 3. On this one, we want 3 groups
This is an
of
equation.
2. Do we have 3 groups of 2? How many groups do we have?
1, 2, 3.
And how many are in-
1, 2.
How many are in so we've got 3 different groups. How many are in each group?
2.
2.
1, 2.
So those are
2.
3 groups of 2. This one, how many groups do we have?
2.
And how many do we have in each group?
1, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Okay. So now, which one up here on the page, which one is the 3 groups of 2? The top one. That says 3 groups of 2. Which one of these is the 3 groups of 2 that are down here with the markers? Which one is the 3 groups of 2? Good. So how many is in 3 groups of 2? What's our equals? How much does it equal?
It equals.
All right, so you have 5 is what we're saying. Are we guessing or do we count them?
I counted. I counted in my head.
Okay, show me counting the markers. Show me counting the markers. Because that's how we double check it.
I would.
Let's count the markers so we can double check.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What?
Check
Wait,
it again.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What?
How many are in 3 groups of? How many are in 3 groups of 2?
In 3 groups of 2?
Mhm.
5.
Count it. How many are in 3 groups of 2? That's 3 groups of 2 right there, right?
4, 6.
There's always a way to double check your answers by just counting them, okay? Because sometimes in your head, it might say a number, but you can always double check it. All right, so now we move on to 2 groups of 3. How many are in 2 groups of 3? If
6.
You 6, you don't even have to count it. Let's count it to double check. How many are in 3 groups? 2 groups of 3.
I'm gonna count by 3s.
You're gonna count by 3s. Let's see.
3, 6.
3, 6. All right, write it down. So this is telling us that 3 groups of 2.
Just because they're in a different place doesn't mean they're in a different number.
Right. So 2 times 3 equals 3 times 2. It's a big word that's called, okay? I'm going to tell it to you, but you don't have to remember it, okay? That's called the transitive property. Yep. That means that 3 times 2 always equals 2 times 3. Okay? You won't learn that for quite a while, okay? You don't have to remember
put it in my head.
You remembered it, but I want you to remember that 3 times 2 always equals 2 times 3.
I know.
4 times 4 equals 4 times 4. 1 times 4 equals 4 times 1. You can move the number to the other side of the group. 4 groups of 1 is the same as 1 group of 4. Okay?
Okay.
So we're learning that. You did a great job with this, okay? That's all we're going to work on today. But you did a great job.
Can we just work on a little more?
A little more? Why don't you... Okay, so let's do this. We don't have enough markers, but we can use something else. We'll do one more, okay? Because we need to know how many groups, the baskets that we got upstairs for the new shelves, how many packs came? Well, let's work on how many.
5.
So there are 5. So it's 5 groups of how many were in each pack?
8.
5 groups of 8. So show me what that looks like on the equation. What does 5 groups of 8 look like if you write it down?
5 groups of 8.
So we're not doing the problem yet. We're just writing it down. We're just like we're writing the sentence. 5 groups of 8. It's all right. Use your eraser. It's okay. That's why they make those erasers. Good. 5.
Do I do this?
Yep, 5 groups. Good. Of how many?
Why can't I even do 8? I'm practicing 8 for ages. I wish I could
Okay.
find it.
5 groups of 8. So, we don't have enough markers to have 5 groups of 8, but we can use something else, okay? So let's use,
What are you gonna use?
we're going to use paper clips, okay?